is Green Global Real Estate Education Network. I am your host, Mark LaPera. And welcome to our Wednesday night meeting here in Nashville, Tennessee. What we do here is learn, network, and buy real estate. And we want to learn the right way how to buy real estate. A lot of us are cowboys and buy fast and loose. And as we learned today, both Les and I were at a property earlier today where the homeowner is in jail and they just bought their house through tax evasion. We are trying to teach you the right way how not to do that. So there's many different techniques of proper titling your property, LLCs, self-directed IRAs, just how to do things the right way and to stay out of trouble. And that's what Green is really designed to do. There's so many little tricks, and there's so many traps that you will fall into because you are new and don't know what you're doing. Okay, I want to introduce a few new people here in our meeting. Want you introduce yourself and why are you here?
So, talk?
You can talk, and Black Marcus, put the camera behind me.
My name is Logan. Would I just say my name?
Yeah, say your name and why are you here? You probably this camera right here.
Okay. Hi, my name is Lisette Garcia. I'm 25. And I'm here because I've always had interest in the real estate industry. And I'm a nail tech, been in nail technician for 6 years. I can't do that for 10 more years. My hands will fall off. So I really want to focus on something that's really going to just give me financial freedom.
And your parents are
builders. And they also have rehab programs. So they know a lot.
Good. Yeah. Everybody else is fairly new, old hat here, so we'll just move in. Lisette said she wants to be a wholesaler. What is a wholesaler? I mean, that's sort of pretty wide angle to take. We try to narrow that down to what is your specialty, and and get good at that. And then move on maybe to the next thing. Here's Lisette. She also said she doesn't want to buy a house. Well, you got to watch that thinking because
later. Start off. I just want to introduce the seller to the buyer.
Yeah.
And then eventually, when I have more income, then I want to start rehabbing.
But always keep your mind open to everything.
True.
Larry, one of our new trainers, he came in and called me today with 6 houses in Detroit. Okay? We're going to put them up. You can put them up on the screen if you want, Marcus. 6 houses in Detroit for, let's just say, about $50,000 a piece. $50,000 and some change. And that's if we bought them all at one time. All right? I asked him, I said, is there any financing? He called up and got some financing offer for us, which, you may or may not, offer a different price. But just look at this example. You have 12 $50,000 houses, nice little houses, that probably sold individually might sell for $60,000 or $70,000. If you bought this, now when I say buy it, we're not paying all the money. We are borrowing the money, borrowing it from the owner, borrowing the down payment from your father or a group of people. And we buy all 12 properties and sell 11 of them to say, instantly, just go with a realtor up there and just say, put these 11 on the market for me at 62,000, whatever, some number. You get one for free. So there's an easy way I showed you how to buy a house, complete house with no money. Not even no money down. You bought it for free. So don't, try not to use those terms of, I don't want to do that stuff. Deals come. Maybe you don't want that deal or a deal that comes by your house or comes by you. But you know what? One of these people might. So, and of course, that's what you said is I want to introduce people to them. There's always little deals going out there. Marcus, put up some of the other stuff that I showed you. A lot of people here, like yourself, haven't bought your first house. Maybe you have one or two you bought in your past, but can only afford, you don't have enough money to buy a home yourself, but you would like to get in a little bit over here. While you're doing the wholesaling, maybe you want to, hey, listen, I got an extra $5,000 that I can throw in the deal. So I am actively advertising through Green and through Facebook and other media to people like yourself or new people who want to get their first property or build their portfolio in some fashion. You got to remember, you don't have to own 100% of everything because you might have 100% of nothing and you have nothing. Or you might own 10% of 20 things. So I have been putting the word out, and these are the things that come across my desk all the time of properties. Well, I can tell this was far because I get to see the blue sky. $50,000, $60,000 condos and townhouses and single-family homes, all through Fort Myers, Sarasota, St. Pete area. As you just scrolls through, I'm not going to really go through them, any of them. And these are on the MLS. All right, so people say, "Oh, I only knock on doors. I only buy." You know what? There's deals everywhere. Matter of fact, every house is a deal. Every property is a deal. It just depends what you want it for. Even MLS things that you think that there was a realtor that he's going to tell them don't sell it for 50% of what they got to list it for. You never know what the owners ask or the owner needs. They might have it paid off. They might need to get out and go to their grandkids up in Minnesota or something. So if you have good realtors around the country, that see a property like this here for 20, 30, 40, 50,000, whatever, 64, and put an offer in for 35. My old broker said, if you're not embarrassed about putting the offer in, you're too high. I mean, you gotta be so embarrassed, even to write the darn offer. That's why you hire a realtor. You don't hire them, they get paid for it. You have them write it and send it in. And you send in lots of them. You just have to have your contracts prepared properly, that you can get out of these deals if you have to. And that comes with education groups like this. We'll show you how to do that kind of thing. But all these properties that we can buy for $50,000, $60,000, $30,000, some of them were single family homes, some of them were condos. I never liked condos when I was your age because I always thought that maintenance fee, $200, was my profit. Well, you know what? It's just like everything else. You got to pay taxes and insurance and grass cutting and all the other things for houses, and estimate, the roof is only going to last another 10 years. It's going to cost me $10,000, so 10 years, $2,000. They're in your calculations. You might not know it. So that maintenance fee is relative. And now that I am a senior citizen, I like old people. I didn't like them before. But, old people pay their rent. They don't fix their motorcycle on my carpets. All these other things that, have their cars up on blocks outside. Those condo people, they're pretty strict. And, they're also out there watching your property. So you have like two people watching. You got the condo people, plus you have your property manager. And if you build the numbers in and you know your numbers, I mean, how much is it to fix up a condo? You got a kitchen about as big as a bathroom, and painting carpets of what, 1 room, 2 rooms? So they're sort of, if you get the machine working where you start buying 5 or 6, 10, 15, 30 condos in one area, you just have your work crew just go right through. So this is what we're going to be doing here. I'm going to be doing in the next 6 months is buy 100 houses in the next 6 months. And anybody wants to ride along with me, we're ready to go. So anyway, that's houses. Now we have Mike Cathell down there who has lists of foreclosed houses all through Florida, all the way up to, I know he has like 9 states. I have another guy who's a trustee, and he has foreclosed properties from, I know he gave me some in Atlantic City, which I gave to one of my buddies in Jersey. All the way down into Pensacola, which I gave to Paulie, who buys property in Pensacola. Chattanooga, that Steve went down there, and I know he went down and looked at a couple of properties. And Atlanta, which Larry has contacts in Atlanta, and many other places. So a lot of I get a lot of stuff that comes across my desk. I mean, literally hundreds of properties that are relatively inexpensive to buy, and especially when you work with a team of professionals who've been doing this for a long time. Would love to have your mother and father go on down there and meet us. We love to meet other professionals and pick their brains. All right. Well, speaking of professionals, last week was part 1 of a 4-part series that Robert gave for us on foundations. Foundation problems are not just limited to our lousy soil that we have up here, this clay that expands and contracts with dry and wet. I've been 30 years in Fort Myers, Florida, and we build on sand. I've been in Philadelphia for another 20-some years, and the frost line, I see it lifts houses 10 feet high. But I'll just give you some general telltale signs of how to tell the difference between a settlement crack and a problem. And the beauty with foundations for us, we smile. We take pride in, no offense, but other people's misery. Mold houses, we love. And I had a mold guy in here talking about how to get rid of mold, because mold, the house is deducted $10,000, and if we can fix it for $1,000, we just made $9,000. Burnouts, bad paint, bad neighborhoods. This is the investor's dream. This is what you live for. This is what your parents lived for. This is what we all, and we smile about it, We smile when we go into those places where no living man has ever gone before and come out smelling like $30,000 profit. And foundations are one of those things that everybody steps off because there's a crack, the steps are sliding away, they know that it's going to cost thousands of dollars to fix it up, and literally it does cost $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 to fix it up. But what the great thing is, sometimes they take off $70,000. And if we know the right guy to come on in and fix it, right, and certify it and give you everything you need, and knows how to do it at a reasonable price, it's gold. I mean, it's literally, right? We all bought properties that were sliding off the foundation, and we all smiled about it when everybody backed off, and we were the only bidder left. So I'm going to welcome up my friend Robert Elam of United Structural Systems, one of the premier foundation outfits in Nashville. Thank you, Robert.
Thank you. Don't need to think of saying one of them.
No, that's right. Actually,
I appreciate the accolades. We do have a rich history in this area. We are the oldest and largest foundation repair, waterproofing, structural repair, basement, concrete leveling. We do it all. And we have a tremendous reputation to maintain as the oldest and largest. And I would encourage anyone, before you do business with someone, to check us out on Angie's List, Better Business Bureau. There's some websites that actually are active, proactive in protecting people, like ripoffreport.com, theconsumerist.org. I go to those, and you can listen to the actual customers scream and cry about the experiences they had with different companies. So I would recommend anybody go into those companies. I would say pull back the curtain, because if you have nothing to hide, then you're happy for the curtain to be pulled back. Last week we did talk about foundation repair, and there is foundation problems pretty much anywhere on planet Earth, because we are on soils, building on soils. Soils change. The Earth is a living organism, and you can buy a piece of land, or you can be familiar with a piece of land, and if you remember, maybe even as a child, the way the hills looked or an area looked, and then you go back 50 years later, it doesn't look the same. That's because things change. The Earth moves and shifts and changes. And of course, if you built your house on an area that's even more highly susceptible to moving and shifting, then you're more highly susceptible to having problems with foundation repair, but we can take care of that. And I would tell you that all of our warranties concerning any repairs that we do for a home flipper or an investor, the good news is that all of our warranties are fully transferable. So when you guys go in and buy a house, fix it up, flip it, the new owner gets that full warranty. They don't have to pay anything, they don't have to do anything. Our warranties come with an address on them, not even the name on them. So for whatever the length of the warranty is, it doesn't matter who lives there or how many times it sells, we don't care. This week we were going to talk about concrete leveling. These are not topics that take forever to talk about. It's a pretty simple process. If you've got concrete walkways, steps, as long as they're not these monster steps like we talked about last week. Some of these homes in Brentwood where the steps are 12 feet wide and there's 18 of them, they weigh 3 or 4 tons. You have to go in with foundation piers and lift those up. Steps on a house will typically rock back away from the porch, leaving a gap in the sink and rock away. And if it's not, massive steps, we have to actually look at the steps, see how they're constructed, etc. But a lot of times we can get underneath them, polyfoam inject, and lift them back into place, and put a good warranty on it. And it's way cheaper sometimes than replacing those steps. There's a little bit of a gray area in some of this. I go to a house and I see a square about the size of this top sinking in their walkway. Well, I can't send the crew out and lift 3x2 square of concrete cheaper than you can just demo and report. But when you've got a series of these through the walkway, we can come out and get things back leveled up, which is important because they become a trip hazard, which is now a legal liability. And then we call it Bart Durham.
As long as there's lawyers, it'll be legal liability.
Yeah. Then we call it little Bart Durham as soon as they snag their toe and smack their head on the concrete. And so because of legal liabilities, we do a lot of business with apartment complexes and condominiums, et cetera, that are having these issues with driveways and walkways and breezeways, and these apartments and condos frequently have problems. So they want to keep that stuff, as liability-free as possible. Do we have, I sent over a couple of agreements with some AutoCADs and some information about concrete leveling. Do we have anything that you can put on the screen?
Yeah, it'll pop up.
Which one would you like, Robert?
It doesn't matter. I mean, I just wanted to see the AutoCAD drawing just to give them an opportunity to see. We've got complete proposals we do with AutoCADs, photographs, everything. Maybe we can just scroll through one of them real quick.
Okay.
Anyone's fine. I don't care.
All right.
Actually,
Yes or no?
I had a friend of mine once running down this building. He came over the windows from day one. And I told her, I said, she'd already let the 1 year expire. She was still talking with the attorney and stuff. And I said, you should already send your bill. I said, I was being honest to get it started. And she didn't want to go to the attorney. I said, I sent her like 3 or 4 names. You guys were one of them, to be honest. I think someone came up from your place, but they said that they wanted an engineering letter first because the house was so that sounded weird to me.
That does sound weird to me. I'm not sure that would be one of our guys. I have recommended structural engineers in the past. Generally, when I felt like I was getting in over my head for one thing, you have to have the opportunity.
No, I understand.
Sometimes to yourself, and you're in over your head. When I felt like a house had so many things going on that it could get a little dangerous for me, I would say I need a structural engineer to cover my what. Or if I walk into a house like in East Nashville and it's 89 years old or 109 years old. Well, when you get to a structure like that, before you can, you're talking about going in and lifting and moving and shuffling things around, and you've got floor joists that could splinter, all kinds of nightmares that can come up just because you're moving around a house that's 100 years old. And a lot of them have stacked stone foundations. They don't have block foundations. They have these stacked stones that are mortared in. And you start moving in. Take a stack of M&Ms, separate M&Ms, and start squeezing them and see what happens. You get these stacked stone foundations and you try to lift them. We'll go in and we'll stabilize only. And we'll even write stabilize only. We get it nice and snug. We say, okay, it won't go any further, but we're not picking it up. I'm sorry, you were going to ask me something.
Well, I was going to ask you to say something. And I have this happen to me. When you've got a house that's got some kind of problem with it, and it happens to people call codes or anything like that, codes always says, get a structural engineer.
Well, that's because they flat out don't know what they're doing. I have a problem with codes department. I see houses that I don't know how they ever got past codes.
That's right.
Yeah, was your question that they wanted to see the structural plans?
No, it was just that I never, I've dealt with you guys a couple times, and it just, I don't know whether it was the house was so new. It didn't seem like it was that off kilter and she said, well, they wanted a structural engineer. And I was like, well, it's $500.
Well, I would have to know that it was our company, that who the sales rep was.
Yeah, she made a mistake. She talked to 3 or 4 people. So.
I had that. I'm not saying it wasn't us. I'm saying that I've had that where someone would say, well, you told me to do this. And I go, no, I didn't. We don't even do that. So, after your 3rd or 4th estimate, it's, this guy said this guy said that. I don't know that happened, but I would have to know the circumstances. If you had a house that's 1 year old and you're going into an attorney legal liability situation, sometimes I would tell people to go ahead and get a structural engineer just because, regardless of what I say, I'm a project manager. I'm there to sell you something, and I'm there to rip you off, and I'm there to sell you everything I can to make as much money off of you as I can. And that's how it's going to be presented in the court of law. And that's how I will be represented by an opposing attorney in the court of law. He's going to try to make me look like I'm just selling something.
No,
so when we know we're going to get into a liability situation, then we get a structural engineer involved because he has nothing to sell but expertise. So when he says do this work, he ain't profiting from it. He's just telling you that it needs to be done. He can give you a document that is a legal document that will stand up in the court of law. When I hand you one of these beautiful proposals, like you'll see, it's just a slick sales presentation as far as an attorney on the opposing side will present it. Although it's really not. I mean, we do try to be honest and do what's the right thing. But, in the court of law, no matter what you do.
Well, I think that I would have recommended you. I told you, you're one of the big companies.
We have one of the biggest.
The best. This is, can you scroll back down to the beginning or just above the house? Other direction. All right, this is a service agreement. That is what we call them. And it has a sort of photographs. You can scroll up some. There's the front of the house. Whenever we talk about a house, we're standing in front of it, talking from about left, right, etc. We're always standing in front of the house on the street facing it. So whenever we make references to a house, assume that that's the position we're talking about. Would you go up some more, please? Okay, this is a repair plan. This is where we list everything that we're going to do to this house. For example, QS will void, fill, stabilize, and attempt to lift concrete slab back to original position. While lift is likely, the degree of lift or amount of correction cannot be guaranteed. Anybody says, oh, I can get that to do this, no problem. That should send up a red flag to you, because nobody knows for sure exactly what's going to happen. We're pretty confident, or we won't bid the job, but to say that it's going to happen is not a good idea. Additional cracks may occur while lifting the slab. USS may have to make some saw cuts to free the slab for lifting. We have had slabs that are right up against the house, a patio. It's right up against the brick, and they slid down up against the brick. Well, they're not going to come back because they're rubbing that brick. They're rubbing against that brick. So sometimes we've had to make a saw cut to get it come back up, and then you just fill it with void. We will fill the saw cuts made to free the slab. Patching of the injection holes may not match existing concrete color or texture. We will do our best to match any concrete, but you have to understand, we looked at patio sites and sit there for 20 years. It's weathered, it's aged, and we put in fresh concrete. It's not going to match exactly. I love aggregate for these jobs. There's a reason for that. Whenever we do aggregate, it's got the pea gravel in it. And we punch these tiny little holes now. These new systems, it used to be these holes were quarter size or bigger. They put a slurry of grout, concrete, underneath them to lift it. Now with these things, polyfoam injections, the hole is just minuscule. You put it right in there, put the nozzle of the gun in there, fill the void, and the polyfoam expands and lifts the concrete back into place. And if it's aggregate, we pull the nozzle out, we take a piece of pea gravel, go boink right in the hole. And you never even know it was there. Unlike a slab of gray concrete, which I tell people whenever we cut into their slab of just poured concrete, this is a patch. It's going to look like a patch, and it's going to look like a patch forever. So paint it, put some astroturf on it, do whatever you want to do to it. If you leave it like this, it's going to be a patch and it'll look like a patch forever. That's about as honest as it gets. When we fill these voids, we guesstimate how much polyfoam injection it will take, how much product it's going to take to fill and lift. We do everything you can imagine, driveways, walkways, the concrete that surrounds the swimming pools. That seems to settle quite a bit. I'm not exactly sure why that is. I don't know if it has anything to do with the pool being there or whatever, but I've seen a lot of pool concrete around the pool settling down. And so we do lift a lot of those as well. But it's a pretty simple process. It comes with a 3-year warranty, again, fully transferable on our polyfoam injections. It used to be a 1-year warranty on all of these things, but every year in Las Vegas there is a big show called World of Concrete. Well, doesn't that sound exciting? The guys from USS all go to World of Concrete to learn all the latest techniques and technologies and to party their butts off in Las Vegas. So I know that's fine to go, but they all know we're here for educational purposes. Anyway, they go to Vegas and they learn these things, and the polyurethane injections came out a few years ago. It was a big upgrade for equipment for the people who were doing the concrete leveling to switch over. Some of them have not switched over because it's a lot of money to switch over. We have the polyurethane injections. We do those exclusively, and so we are using the latest technology, and we give the best warranty. Most warranties are a year, 2 years. Ours is now good with this technology. It's only susceptible to UV rays, which is not an issue because it's under concrete. So that becomes not an issue. One of the most hilarious things I've heard, I was at the home show recently, a couple of months ago, February, I think, in Nashville Music City Center. And someone came to me and asked me about it and told me that one of our competitors had told him that it draws ants. That polyurethane attracts ants. And I said, no, actually it attracts buffalo. So I had never heard anything any more stupid than that in my life, so I thought I'd take it on to the next stupid level. So I said, no ants, but it will attract buffalo. It doesn't attract ants. It's, it's just the latest technology, not everybody has it, so they got to figure out something so they don't make it, like you don't want it. But that's basically the leveling techniques for the holes in. Raise the concrete up. Can we go up just a little more on the video? Up to the, there you go. Yeah, see, these are the areas that are of concern. Typical. Some steps, I see those steps can be worked with. There's only 4 of them, they're probably 6 feet wide. You go up some more, please?
So,
See that? Okay, stop. You see this right here? This whole area is of concern getting it lifted back up. You got a step here, and you've got these seams in the concrete. I'm sorry, Mark, you were going to answer?
no, go ahead.
No, all I was going to say is you want to keep all this as level as possible because this is an area where people congregate and these trip hazards are bad news. And if they fall, they bust their heads somewhere. So it's very important to keep these areas as level and straight up as possible. Did you want to ask me something?
No, good.
Yeah. Are you going up, scrolling? Should be an AutoCAD in here somewhere. Yeah. We take complete photographs of everything to make sure that we've got it all on record. There you go, right there. Look at that. There's your tow hanger right there. And here's one that really worries me is when you're going up somebody's steps because you're in a stepping upward motion going into their house. And that last step, instead of being the standard, 6 inches or something, it's 8 or 9 inches because the steps have sunk and you hang your feet and you go straight into the front door. Which is always a glass door. But that is a real hazard. So, people just ignore things like this because they don't think it's a big deal. But in your business, restoring houses and flipping them and renting them, the last thing you need is a renter to hang his toe on that and looking for an excuse to get out of paying rent. Here they come. Go ahead and scroll it up, please.
No, you talk about just ballpark pricing for a sidewalk. Maybe sometimes this is as little as $1,000.
It's $900 for me to show up, but here's what that buys you: a lot of fun.
Yeah,
It's not just the truck in the driveway. Where's my $900? It's $900, and that provides you with a lot of fun.
yeah. I mean, if you have just sidewalks around a house that, or the tree lifted a root here and there, if it's just lifting up. It's really like $1,000. I'm just trying to get people a ballpark because they don't check, so they're afraid about it. They're afraid of.
Well, nothing to be afraid of to begin with. It's free estimate.
Yeah.
And our project manager will come to your house and he'll tell you what it's going to cost.
Yeah.
And you can make a decision whether to do the work or not. But and it always comes down to: do I want to lift this concrete back into place, or do I want to demo this thing and report? But let me tell you something. You think, well, it's not a lot of concrete. It's a walkway that may be 20 or 30 feet long and 4 feet wide or something. But it's not just pouring some concrete. You got to demo it. You got to haul it all away. You got to prep the ground underneath it. You got to re-pour fresh concrete. By the time you're done, it's a whole lot more expensive.
And your grass, you got to clean all that stuff, and there's the grass is also.
Sidewalks is $255.
$255 a foot. I didn't know that.
So you can get out of putting a sidewalk in if you pay Nashville City $255. So if you have 100 feet, it's $25.
Yeah. You can lift the Titanic. You can foam inject and lift the Titanic for that kind of money. Yeah, that's ridiculous.
It's a big number because when people are going in and out because with the new zoning rules, they have to put sidewalk, there's a sidewalk ordinance, and you have to put a sidewalk in if you're building new construction. And, they're always trying to, you'll see all the time on the website, sidewalk ordinances, it's because, it adds, $10,000 to $20,000 to your construction costs.
Well, it's far and away much less expensive to polyfoam and lift concrete that's already there. If it can be done, we will look at it. Now, if it's all cracked up, please bear in mind, people call me out to look at the driveways, and I get there, and it looks like somebody, dropped a couple hand grenades on the driveway. It's, all cracked up, all beat up. The concrete is falling, the shale pieces are everywhere. And it's a demo and repour. I can't do anything for you there. But if you've got a pretty solid piece of concrete and it's just tilting one direction, or if it's sinking, if it's not all cracked up, then it can be lifted. Can we scroll some more? Please keep going, please. A lot going on at this house. That's one of the reasons she sent this one over. The young lady that works in the office sends me these at my request to show you guys.
Was this the same estimate that you started with?
As far as I know, it is, unless he's rolled into another estimate. I think that's the same estimate. There's just a lot going on.
Because it said $1,100. It seems.
It's the same estimate.
It is $1,100. Somebody got fired.
Well, maybe they didn't want to.
Somebody's getting fired. This is what you don't want to do. This kind of stuff. Just everybody wants to pump it full of caulk. Here's the cracks talking. That's not a good idea.
Caulk up to 3 inches wide.
Well, I'm just saying if it's all cracking up.
It's just shove the tube down there, and then
yeah. But I'm just saying, if you want it properly repaired, nobody else is spending. Everybody's trying to save 50 cents, And if it's your house, don't you want it done right and be done with it, instead of coming back in a few years and biting you? Same thing. Do we have a garage lintel agreement in there? I'm just going to cover that real quick, because I'm going long again.
oh, you got some garage lintel dot.
Is there one in there? Just scroll. Yeah, I see the ladder in front of the garage. That's a good in there. Okay, stop right there. That garage opening right there, without me standing there measuring it, is most likely 16 feet wide. Usually the double garages are about 16 feet wide with a couple feet on either side. And the most ideal garage situation, if you're looking at houses to buy, if you're fortunate enough to find them, is the 2 openings with the post in the middle. Those are 9 feet openings, and they rarely fail. This steel lintel stretches all the way across, and if you see this house, it has a bonus room above it. That steel lintel has got to support all that weight above it and distribute it all. And what happens is they begin to sag. If the builder would spend an extra 50 cents on a thicker, heavier gauge lintel, then they would prevent a lot of this, but they're not going to. They're going to do whatever codes makes them do, minimally. And so you're going to get cracks right above. Let's go ahead and scroll. Maybe we got some good looking cracks here above that garage opening. That would be nice to look at. Oh, right there. Let me see what that repair costs. $1,500 to repair that. Repair lintel, cut point cracks, and mortar joints clean up. Not a bad price for getting that thing ready to go. $1,500. I don't know if you guys think it's a bad price.
No, I had one repaired. It was a guy who does concrete work, just chucking a truck. He's a good guy, but it wasn't far off that. He did a couple more things for me, but it was pretty close. And didn't get one.
Well, here, that is transferable. So, anyway, I wish you'd get some good close-ups. I hope this project manager keeps scrolling. See if we can get it. There we go. Sometimes, even on the photographs, it's hard to see the cracks. Here we go. All right here. You see these? Oh, even to the brick here. Now, here's something that needs to be pretty bear in mind. We will grind out these mortar joints every tuck point. And we will match the mortar as close as possible. We discussed earlier about concrete and time ages and weathers. We have colors out there. We will try to get it as close as possible. And we do pretty good jobs, and there's can't tell with that. Other times, it takes a little time for the weather and things to change. But you got a crack in the brick. You have a decision to make. Do you want that brick extracted, and a fresh one put in, or do you want to ignore it, or do you want to come behind it, put a little, brick colored caulk or something, but you can buy colors of that too. And if it's just a little thing like that, might as well caulk it, but especially in your situation where you're just trying to unload this house. But for many, many homeowners, I have to go in and take these brick out. We have to count the brick. And it's like $20 a brick. So if I go in and I got 15 or 20 brick, that's the amount I add up to a few $100 more. And after having some unhappy situations with brick not matching to the homeowner situation, many, many years ago, now we will require the homeowner, we will tell him, you go buy the brick, hand it to us, we'll put it in. Because that way, we didn't take out the brick, he did. I'll tell them all about the brickyards. There's brickyards all over the place. There's Alley Cassidy, and there's a couple others that have brickyards around here, and they have a big selection. If you get some close-up photographs, you guys that are flipping a house, get some very good close-up photographs of your brick. You can go to some of these places. There's one on Downs Boulevard at Franklin. I forgot what that one's called. Low Jack. That's it, Low Jack. And there's Alley Cassidy. There's one in Murfreesboro. Big brickyard there. Get some close-up photographs, take it there, tell them you get the closest they can get for you. The older the house is, obviously, the harder it's going to be to find that brick. But brick like that, that's just pretty standard stuff. You can match that brick like that. And we will grind all the mortar joints out, but we will re-tuck point them, and we will raise that lintel back up, reattach it to the header with lag bolts, and reinforce it as we need to keep this from happening again in the future. Basically, we make it a good and solid project. Okay, anybody got any questions for me? No? No questions?
Now, you say when it sags in the middle of that 16-foot garage door, the only way you can actually support that is upwards into the rafters.
Well, we go in, we lift the lintel back into place, first of all. Then we take out a row of bricks, and we lift the lintel back into place. We drill the holes into the header, reattach it with lag bolts. And we can even, we have to straighten it all up and attach it to some of the framing further up. The exact way that it's done varies. I don't do the work. I would have to bring in one of the guys who does it. I just know that there are several techniques that they use like that to get it to reattach and be back where it's supposed to be and stay there. It's usually pretty simple stuff, but you can stand back from a house and look at the garage opening and you can see the lintel sagging in one of these situations. And that's what's causing the bricks to crack. A lot of people will freak out thinking they've got foundation settlement because we're back to bricks cracking again. And then they are seriously relieved when I tell them it's a $1,500 rental repair.
Yeah, we used to jack it up and put a seed channel on the inside, bolt it through.
Well,
Cheaper than $1,500 too.
well, it's always better. I don't, as I said last week, and I say my motto in life is thank God for bad builders or at the unemployed.
None of us, though, in all honesty with you, none of us would have that prepared.
I don't doubt that.
We'd be like, it looks like a good garage to me. It's not going to kill anybody.
It just because of that point, you probably would.
Well, yeah, but if that garage door doesn't close properly, inspections,
That garage was.
That one's fine.
Mine was crumbling on one side, so there was a chance it was going to fall.
Well, what happens is when they get really bad, it's finally when people actually do something. And if you're taking over properties that are in foreclosure, frequently they've been neglected for a long period of time because everybody was fighting tooth and nail just to keep it. And finally they lost it, and it's been suffering from maintenance for a long time. But you are correct. In a very slight situation like that, that's pride of ownership. That's somebody saying, I'm not interested in this cavity turning into a root canal, so they go in and take care of it. I personally would do that. I'm one of those guys, though. I can't stand looking at it. I bought a home 7 years ago, and everything on it was contracted was very crap. Little tiny gutters, 3-tab shingles. I mean, I couldn't pull in the driveway and look at my roof anymore. It was driving me insane. So I had a roofing company come out there, and they kept telling me the insurance wouldn't do this. And I said, I'm not interested in insurance. Get that crap off of my roof and put me an architectural dimensional shingle on this thing. And don't put 15 or 30 pound felt paper. Put armor shield underneath it, which is just that synthetic membrane. And get me the best damn dimensional shingle on this roof so that I can pull in my driveway and have a little bit of pride. And it cost me a little extra money, but I'll never forget it. I'm old enough that root will outlive me. So, you know, there are things that you do, pride and ownership, and it's like that. Anyway, thanks for letting me speak with you. Mark's on his feet, which means I gotta
go. Another interesting talk, how we can save money and make some extra money in our real estate dealings. Let me tell you where green is today. We've been doing this for a couple of years now. And today, Steve is in Phoenix with Eva, our membership director, and they are talking with the #1 comp plan builder in the world. I think we're in the United States at least, but probably in the world, which is like the Notre Dame of comp plan builders. When people see that this company built our comp plan, they come in with all their people a lot of times. So we are with them and their back office people for right now. And it'll probably take another 45 days to do all the changes. I don't know if we're going to keep the binary system or go into something else. But whatever we do is probably going to be the top of the line program, because you know Steve, he doesn't mind spending the money for top of the line. And when that happens, green is going to explode. And like I said, this is a network marketing company, and the people in this room who are members are numbers less than 50. And the people who aren't members in here, to get in, I would recommend getting in very soon before this thing blows up, or you're going to be upset that these big horses that we have on the sideline waiting to get in right now when this thing is up. In fact, they're not even waiting. They said, "Do you mind if I bring them in now?" No, but I'd rather you hold until we sign out, whether this matrix is 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever. But this is going to go. Steve and I never had a doubt from 4 years ago when we built this thing that this is, there's nothing like this out there. Go Google real estate education, go Google real estate MLM companies. There's nothing like this out there where we have live interactive education as many times as we have it, and adding more and more and more. Speaking of that, Doc, do you have anything to say?
Well, that's kind of a general invitation.
Well, anything, we're going to have Robert back the next 2 weeks.
We sure do.
But maybe if what's coming up, well, we have our launch in June 15th.
Correct.
So who do we have, let's just say, beginning of June?
Okay, so obviously we have Robert coming for the next 2 weeks. Next week we're going to be dealing with waterproofing. And then on the 23rd, he's going to be dealing with structural and framing issues. After that, on the 30th, I wrote this down. I want to make sure. Yes, we have Greg DeSalvo. Greg DeSalvo is a friend of Dave Foster's, your friend, down in St. Petersburg, Florida. Greg himself is actually located in Orlando, and he's going to be doing a very interesting presentation on the introductions to tenancy in common. And as you know, Mark, there's lots of different areas that you can get into in tenancy in common. They have hospital ticks, they have storage ticks, they have just pharmaceutical. I mean, there's lots of different options of things you could do. And I'm really looking forward to that presentation because we've actually been talking about some of this is doing these kind of group investments and to see how this could tie in with what we would like to do as Green. So that's coming up on the 30th of May. And that's what we've got for the next 3 weeks coming up.
A tick, a tenant in common, is another way to title a piece of property when you have multiple owners. Basically, the difference between a crowdfunding or just some of the funding that we do with a couple partners and a tick, tenant in common, is if they know the name of the address of the house, it's a crowdfunding. If they don't know, if you're just throwing in money into a pot and somebody is buying property, and this is my layman's term of it, they'll take it for legal advice. But if you don't know the name of the address, you're just putting money in a pot and saying, hey, at the end of the year, give me 12% return on all the properties or whatever. That's more like a stock and shares, which requires FCC regulations. It's not illegal, it's just different paperwork. And so Greg, who we finally got to talk, and he's a very busy man, that's going to be fantastic because that will move our group from doing our little residential stuff to where we can do some big stuff. And I got some $64 million big stuff that I'm working on right now down in Florida. So, but I got one guy who has money for that. But we can do some nice stuff. I get a lot. I'm sure Larry gets a lot of stuff comes across. We all get a lot of stuff come across our desks that we need some big money. Or medium or big money, then that's where these would come into great value. And that's what's going to make our guys here at Green the difference between an investor group and a bunch of pretty darn wealthy people. And that's what I hope that happens. But anyway, well, thank everybody for coming. Anybody out there that wants to say anything, now's the time. If not, forever hold your peace. And what you think of our little show here?
It was great.
We're shocked that, when we have strangers that come in here, it's as many times as we're old guys, and still we haven't seen, there's always something new that pops up. And I'm telling you, when you know a little bit more than somebody else, you make a heck of a lot more money than them. They either lost a lot of money or you parlay that into making a lot of money just by having a little bit more information. So thank you all for coming. I'll see you next week at Green. Don't forget, Paul is tomorrow at 6:30 Central Time. What's he going to talk about tomorrow, Doc, real quick?
He is going to be talking about tiling bathrooms, and I just put the finishing touches on that presentation. I am really excited to see how this one goes tomorrow. It's really interesting stuff. I mean, we're getting into some serious detail, underlayment, the type of trowels, the different types of trowels that are out there, getting some serious detail.
we're going to have at least a 20 CD program of all, everything with a house, from foundation to roof, from curb appeal to what houses to buy and what houses not to buy. For sale here for $4.99. We have a bunch of CDs already for well, usually $50, but anybody here for $25. A lot of CDs. We bring out more every week. We're here. Everything from property management to how to sell. What's the new one we got, Marcus, today?
Mobile home, land trust, and vacant lots.
Mobile home, land trust, and vacant lots. How to buy them on land trust, which is like a owner financing. I do a mobile home class. Larry does a mobile home class. I'm sure John could probably do a mobile home class. All the experience he gets. A lot of experience in this room. All right. Well, thank you very much, and see you next week.